Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely phenomenal, a definitive trading system known as the VWAP Pullback strategy. Now, if looking at trading charts usually makes your head spin, hey, don't worry about it. We're going to break this whole thing down using super simple analogies. By the time we're done here, you are going to be reading these setups like a total pro.
So, the real beauty of the VWAP pullback strategy? It's all about precision. Think of the VWAP line as the market's center of gravity for the day, or, kind of like the main current of a river. We're going to jump straight into unpacking the exact step-by-step rules for trading around this center of gravity. No fluff, just the facts. Which brings us to the million-dollar question for today. How exactly do we execute both the buy and the sell sides of this setup? Let's get right into the nuts and bolts of how these two mirror image sides actually function when you're staring at the charts. Now, the foundation of this entire system relies on perfect symmetry. The specific rules for a buy perfectly contrast with the rules for a sell. It's a beautifully balanced framework, honestly, much like two sides of a seesaw. Understanding that duality, that is your golden ticket to mastering this setup.
All right, part one, executing the buy setup, also known as the long side.
This strategy demands strict chronological discipline. There's a precise three-step sequence that must be met. 1. The price is above the VWAP. 2. Wait for a pullback to the VWAP. And 3. A bullish rejection candle. Let's look at this sequence like a kid jumping on a trampoline, checking out each crucial step.
So, our absolutely crucial first point, price above VWAP. This is a totally non-negotiable first condition. Remember that river current we talked about? Well, if the price is above the VWAP, the overall current is flowing upward. Before you even think about hitting that buy button, you fundamentally need to make sure you're swimming with that upward current. Never fight the current. Once you're in that upward current, the system demands extreme patience. You literally have to wait for a pullback to VWAP. Think of the price like a rubber band stretching away from our center of gravity. It naturally wants to snap back down and touch that VWAP line. So you don't chase the momentum, you hold your ground and patiently wait for that snapback. And then, the definitive moment arrives, the bullish rejection candle. This right here is your execution trigger. Imagine the price falling down to the VWAP line like a person dropping onto a trampoline. The bullish rejection candle is the exact moment you see the market hit that trampoline and powerfully bounce right back up. Without that visible, definitive bounce, the setup is simply incomplete.
Okay, so we've met the conditions, we've patiently waited for our rubber band to snap back, we've seen our trampoline bounce, and we are ready to act. But wait, the immediate logical follow-up question here is, where's the target? What's the ultimate goal of this buy trade once that trigger actually fires?
Well, the source material gives us a very clear, satisfying conclusion for the buy setup. The target is simply the previous high. Boom! That's exactly where you're aiming once the buy is triggered, perfectly capping off the structured flow of the long side with a highly defined objective.
Moving right along to part two, executing the sell setup, or the short side.
So just like the buy side, we've got a strict chronological sequence of 3 steps here. 1. Price below VWAP. 2. Pullback to VWAP. And 3. Bearish rejection candle. The rhythm perfectly matches what we just learned, but everything is precisely inverted. It's kind of like walking on the ceiling. This builds our short premise perfectly. Price below VWAP. Listen, to even entertain a sell setup, the market's current has got to be flowing downward. Here, the fundamental price environment has to be positioned completely below our center of gravity.
Next up, we observe an exact mechanical similarity to the long side, pullback to VWAP. The required action is identical here. You just wait patiently for the price rubber band to stretch, but this time pulling back up to the VWAP. The structural discipline of waiting remains completely unchanged.
And here is our defining moment for the short side, the bearish rejection candle. This is the necessary trigger that finalizes the sell action. The upward pullback has to hit that VWAP line like a literal glass ceiling, visually bouncing off and rejecting higher prices to validate the execution of your trade. Putting these two definitive triggers side by side beautifully summarizes the whole system. Bouncing up off the floor on one side and bouncing down off the ceiling on the other. It's the exact same logic, simply pointing in opposite directions, based on where the price sits relative to the VWAP. So, we've mapped out the entire VWAP pullback strategy exactly as it exists in the source text. The rules are wonderfully concise and totally unambiguous. But look,
Understanding this system is really only step one. The real challenge is in the execution. So I'm going to leave you with this. Knowing what you know now, will you have the rigorous discipline required to follow this playbook every single time?